Hello everyone, today I am going to explain the rest case of the theorem that show that the outer measure of an interval is length. So in the proof, we consider the first case as case 1. Here the interval I is a finite closed interval, and we have proved that the measure of I is nothing but the length of this interval, which is b minus a. Now in this video I am going to explain the second case and the third case. In the second case, suppose that I is any finite interval. Any finite interval means it's an interval with finite length, but we don't know whether the interval is closed, open, semi-open or semi-closed. Only we are given that this interval is having a finite length. Now then, given epsilon greater than 0, there exists a closed finite interval j contained in I such that the length of j is greater than length of I minus epsilon. This is always possible. Now just see how. For example, if you consider I to be any semi-open closed interval 0 to 1, so we can always find a closed finite interval j which is completely contained in 0 1 this interval. Let's suppose we consider j to be as the closed interval 0 to 1 minus epsilon by 2. Clearly this j is contained in I, and what is the length of j? The length of j is 1 minus epsilon by 2, and the length of length of I is 1, right? So if you add any epsilon in length of j, it will become 1 minus epsilon by 2 plus epsilon, and this will become 1 plus epsilon by 2. Clearly this is greater than the length of I, which is 1. So whenever your I is any finite interval, we can always have a closed finite interval j satisfying this condition. So we are having a closed finite interval j satisfying that length of j is greater than length of I minus epsilon. Now further, since j is contained in I, so therefore the measure of j should be less than equal to measure of I, right? But j is closed finite interval, so therefore by case 1 the measure of j should be equal to the length of j. So we can replace this measure of j with the length of j. So what we have, the length of j is less than or equals to the measure of I, and this is greater than length of I minus epsilon. This condition, length of j is greater than length of I minus epsilon. So we can use this inequality over here. Now further, we know that I is contained in I closer, so this implies measure of I should be less than equal to the measure of I closer, but I is a closed set and it is also finite because I is finite, so therefore this should be equal to its length by using case 1. But in case of interval, we know that whether the interval is closed, open, semi-open, whatever, the length remains same. Length is always same. So length of I closer is same as that length of I. So we can use this inequality over here. Recall this is 1. So from 1 what we have, we get this thing, length of I minus epsilon is less than equals to measure of I is less than or equals to length of I, or you can say here it is strict inequality because we are having strict inequality, and this is further less than, strictly less than length of I plus epsilon. So from here what we have, since epsilon is arbitrary, we get measure of I is nothing but equal to length of I because epsilon is arbitrary. So this proves the result that whenever I is any finite interval, it is always equal to, the measure of this should be equal to length. Now the case third, when we have interval of infinite length. So suppose I is an infinite interval. Then for any given any real number k strictly greater than 0, there exists a closed finite interval J subset of I such that the length of J is K. Now once again see, this is possible always because we are given I is an infinite interval. So let's suppose I is an interval with this one. Now its length is clearly infinite. So corresponding to this I, we can always have, and so on, we can always find a closed interval J which is completely contained in I with length of J is any positive real number. Let's suppose we consider K to be 10 to the power 10. Then we can always have a closed interval J which is contained in I. So what is this J interval? This is closed interval 0 to 10 to the power 10. Clearly this interval is contained in I and its length is finite. Its length is K which is 10 to the power 10. So this is always possible. Whenever we have an interval with infinite length, we can always find a closed finite interval which is completely contained in I with length very very large, right? So this is always possible. So now further, J is contained in I implies measure of J is less than equals to measure of I, right? So but since J is a closed finite interval, so by part 1 measure of J should be equal to its length. So we get this is less than equal to measure of I. The length of J is K. Now since this inequality holds for every K, whatever the value of K you put, this measure is always greater than that number. This implies what? Measure of I should be infinity, right? Because it is always greater than equals to a positive real number K, and this real number K means any large number. So therefore the measure of I should be infinity, which is nothing but the length of I. This thing we want to prove. Whenever the I is of infinite length, the outer measure of I should be equal to its length. So with this, the proof of outer measure of an interval is length is